Chad Fregon with the Liberty Blue Jays. I'd like to open it up for some questions. Go ahead.
Did you expect to put up as many points on the board as you did against Summit?
You know, it's a little. We did put up a lot of points for the second week in a row. We put up a lot of points, and no, I wasn't expecting to have that many, just based on kind of our style of offense. But their style of offense with a passing game that they had, and as many times as they passed, it allowed us a lot of possessions, and we had some. Again, a special team score to start the game, and that always helps you a little bit in the points category. Yes. Yeah.
Could you just talk a little bit about the game on Friday?
You bet. Going into this game, both of our teams were 2-1 and had some, played some similar opponents or at least levels of opponents coming in. So at the same time, we're very contrasting styles where they're more of a spread team that throws the ball quite a bit, and whereas we've been getting a lot more yards on the ground with rushing. So interesting in that standpoint, in that the styles kind of clashed in there with that, and both of us stuck with our game plan. And for the first half, it was a very tight ball game, and we were just really proud of our kids that came out in the third quarter and performed well. Our defense got 5 stops in a row and a turnover, or actually 2 turnovers with an interception by Jacob McGowan, another one by Kellen Turner in there. And a lot of that was because of our pressure up front from our front guys. We're getting close to quarterback, getting him into some quick decisions. And then offensively, we were able to get some quick strikes on 2 of those. David Graves scored on 25-plus yard runs where he's just a physical runner and was able to convert some in the third quarter. And we felt like really controlled that quarter. Scoring 28 points in it. Yes?
You said the margin of victory is being accounted for playoff hopes. So how much do you think your margin of victory these last 2 games are going to help the playoff change?
Well, it does count, but only up to 13 points. And that keeps people from, continuously running up the score in a situation like what we had, and also allows you to sub in some other people. You can earn up to 13 points in margin of victory toward your district standings. And some people think, well, you're up by 13, but no, you need to get up by a couple because you don't want to ever lose, be in danger of losing that back down when you're in a situation, when you're fortunate enough to be in a situation like that, which doesn't happen very often in our league and the schedule that we have. So it's something that we think about. We definitely try to win the ball game first and secure the win. So it doesn't really change our thinking until you get into those last few minutes of the game if that 13 is in doubt. That happened week 1 against Winnetonka. We were up 9, and we're trying to get in a touchdown at the last of the game, which normally you wouldn't do under a normal circumstance. Yes?
The other team was looking pretty good offensively the first part. What were you doing defensively to counter that?
Well, they're a very talented team offensively, and they run their system very well. They completed a lot of passes in a row. In fact, their first drive they had against us was a 15-play drive that they converted 3 third downs and 2 fourth downs. So our defense was out there a very long time with that. And the good thing is, and I was proud of our offense, came back after making them really earn that first touchdown. We came back with a 14-play drive ourselves and allowed our defense to recover a little bit from that. But yeah, they're a talented offense, and that it goes from in their first couple games they scored almost 50, I think 48 points against Park Hill the week before they played us, and we knew offensively their quarterback was very good. They have a lot of receivers and a great running back that was second team all conference last year. Big 225-pound running back that they can give the ball to and get some yards. Yes.
What do you and your coaching staff fear the most about Blue Springs?
When you look at Blue Springs, they're just a great team, and they're ranked number 1 in the city and number 2 in the state. Before last week, they lost in overtime to Lee Summit West, who's a great team in themselves, ranked number 1 in 5A. So when you look at them, we know they're a quality opponent. They're extremely well coached. They're a program that's very established in that they have a lot of kids out for football. They don't play kids both ways. They have platoon them completely across the board. A couple kids spot play here and there, but you look at them, they're going to do their system. They do extremely well. They run the ball very well, have a great running back, return a lot of their offensive linemen. Defensively, they're a pressure first defense. They're very athletic, run to the ball, and they really try to force you into making mistakes. So when you ask what we fear with them, it's just we have a lot of respect for them on how they do things and how well they do. Yes. Yep.
Okay. So what specifically did you do to the quarterback for Lee Summit last week that really stopped him? Because he was, passing the ball really efficiently.
Right, and we look at the first half of that game. Toward the end of the first half, we knew we were getting close to getting some pressure on their quarterback. We weren't getting to him, but we were getting one, step away. We're getting very close, and we said that at halftime that, hey, we feel like we're getting them on the ropes a little bit. We're close to getting to where we need to be. At the same time, Coach Van Halen was up in the box, and he drew up some new blitzes we put in at halftime that we just, from what we saw with their offensive line, we were able to get some things going and get to their quarterback a little bit easier. And we literally drew them on the board at halftime and went with them and used some, brought some different guys from some different places, and were able to get to him. And if not get to him, make him release the ball quicker than he wanted to. And that helped us out a lot in kind of just, I wouldn't say stopping their passing game, but we disrupted it enough that it threw some things off to were able to get us some stops on third down. Yes, Qualcomm.
Blue Springs, their team that hasn't scored on a lot. So when you guys play new offensively, what's the forward?
You're right that they haven't been scored on a lot. In the first couple games, they played St. Joe and Park Hill South in their first two ball games before they played Rockhurst and Lee Summit West. And both those games, they really shut them down. Rockhurst, they were ahead by 3 touchdowns, late into the game. With that, ended up beating them, I believe, by 2. But at the same time, it was tough for Rockhurst in that football game. And I went and without that having a Thursday night game last week, I was able to go and watch the game on Friday night to win in overtime, and just 2 great teams and 2 very good defenses. As far as what we're going to do offensively is, we're going to keep capitalizing on what we do well. And I told our kids this week coming into this game that we can't focus this much on Blue Springs. Sure, we have to prepare for them, but we really need to worry about ourselves and what we can control and what we can execute, because we have a lot of things we can improve and get better at on our team. Yes. While you're thinking of that, I'll just go on in a little bit with our JV team. The last couple weeks, they played Lee Summit North last week and won really big, and then our sophomores won last week against Staley. Just talk a little bit about, real pleased with how those 2 teams are going. Then our JV team, we don't have a sophomore game this week, but our JV team last night played Lee Summit and had a big win. They were ahead 12-6 at halftime, ended up winning 32-13, and just really good couple week stretch. Our JV is now 3-1. Sophomores are having some good luck in the games. They're on a completely different schedule for them, and it's really they don't get it. If they prepare during the week, they may see something completely different on Thursday night when they play, and that was kind of the case with Staley on last week, and that we don't even play Staley as a varsity program, but they played them. They're a great program that's close to us, and we're able to go over there and get a win against Staley. So really proud with how those groups have been working and playing well, and just their kids are having fun. It's a luxury. We get to film those games and see them, and our varsity coaches watch them, and we review the film with them right before practice for a little bit with our coaches, and really proud of how those teams are going.
All right, so you guys have this routine. You guys practice 4 days a week, and then you play on Friday.
Right.
Does that routine, or does that affect the guys a lot when you play on Thursday night, and then now you're back to playing on Friday night? Sure.
It is, and exactly what it is. We keep our same routine. We just adjust it by a day, and it affected us. As coaches, we worked an extra day on the last weekend going into our Thursday day. Not really an extra day, but just moved it up a day. And then we brought our kids in on Sunday night, which I usually don't like to do, but we feel it's important that we went through and had our normal Monday practice on Sunday and then adjusted it. The part that you really don't think about too much is, like on Tuesday, your regular Monday practice, that's usually a lighter practice. Well, on that week, that's one of our heavier practice that day, and our JV is gone. So we felt last week we had to use, our scout team was made up of other varsity players that were there that day. So it wasn't really a true scout team. There's some good and bad to that. We felt like we got great reps and great competition, with some kids that are going to be very similar to what they see on Friday night. Same time, you're putting a lot of wear and tear on your athletes. They're coming out of practice a little more banged up and a little more maybe drained than they normally would be. So it affects some different things throughout the week. All in all, though, I was really pleased with how our kids handled it. They seemed to go through without a hitch. We did it once last year, and you kind of gain a day in your preparation for this week also. Yes?
You spoke highly of the JV and sophomore team. Are there any standout players you see that are part of the future?
And I look at them as a whole. I'm really pleased with their offensive and defensive line units on those teams. I feel like they are you can watch the film and see the schemes, and they're doing some things really well that they're mimicking what we do at the varsity level. As far as like scoring, Devin Bryant's been a real big scoring machine for us on the JV, and Philip Schnitz with the sophomore, and this really hard runners doing well. Josh Watson had a game last week where he had 4 touchdowns and 2 kickoff returns and 2 other touchdowns, and is a freshman that's starting on JV that's really playing at a high level and feel really good. He's great in the return game and also with that. And we just had solid play across the board with some kids, and really we have a strong junior class, and some of those juniors that are not playing varsity or playing JV are really doing well in that JV field, and I'm excited about that leading in the next year. Yes?
I heard you guys have like a new kicker, Spencer Hurla, and his first game's Friday. How do you think he'll do?
Well, as far as in our kicking game, Spencer is a player that's on the soccer team, and he's been working out some with us with that. He's been spotty when he's been there, but he is working on some things. And whether or when we get into where using him into some schemes, we'll see is going down the road. I do feel like he's a talented kid that has some potential as a kicker.
Are there any key injuries that will affect your game on Friday?
Right now our injuries are just little nicks and bruises, things like that. We don't have any key injuries that we're working on right now. We feel really fortunate in that respect and take that game today. But other than some jam fingers, things, just general soreness, we're doing pretty good in the injury front. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming today for the press conference. Thank you.
The weekly Coaches News Conference on KLPS TV is brought to you by Hawthorne Bank, a proud sponsor of Liberty School District. At Hawthorne Bank, we understand the importance of strong community in a strong school district. We also understand the importance of strong financial future for our school district's families and for our local businesses. Hawthorne Bank, with you every step. And by Jackson Hewitt. For all your tax needs, personal or business, rely on tax professionals at Jackson Hewitt & Liberty, a full-service tax preparation professional. Jackson Hewitt,